Wagwan, wagwan. Welcome to my channel. I am the DIY Yardie. Welcome back if you've been here before. In this video today, I'm working on a 2003 Chevy 2500. It's a cargo van. And the issue is having the oil pressure gauge fluctuates between 40 pounds to 80 pounds to zero at times while driving, and sometimes it will sit on zero pressure, and periodically jump back up to 40 or up to 80. But basically, after checking this car out, came to the determination that it needs a new oil pressure sensor. So this is the process I'm going to show you how I went about to install that oil pressure sensor. So this process here will work for pretty much most GMC cargo vans, Chevy cargo vans, 2500, Sierra, 25, 3500, any kind of cargo van with that similar engine. Okay, so what I was doing here is running the engine and trying to replicate the issue that it was having. And there you go, you see the needle drop to zero. And after a while, if you accelerate or just leave it alone, it'll pop back up on its own. And that is definitely not normal. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is go ahead and get the passenger seat out, and that's held in place by 4 3/4 inch or 19 millimeter bolts. Okay, I'm getting those removed and get all 4 of them. And with this issue here, a bad what is it called, the clock, the oil gauge, the meter for the oil gauge, that could also be the culprit. That's what it looks like with the seat out. Okay, so next I'm going to get this little part here removed, and that's just held in place by clips, so you just got to unsnap that. And usually there are some screws at the bottom of that, but this one didn't have any screws in it, so whoever went in last or over time, screws got left off. Okay, so there you want to clip these clips to remove that cover, engine cover. Okay, this is a 10 millimeter, and this is to remove this front part of the engine cover, and it's got 4 10 millimeter bolts. Well, it's supposed to be 4. This one has 3. Go ahead and get those loosened and removed out of there. Get that moved out of the way. Get that moved out. Then got 3 more clips to unclip. This is 1 on the driver's side by the gas pedal, and 2 more in the area that I just moved that other piece from. Those 2 at the bottom, unclip those or unhook. just want to lift up on that cover and pull back towards you. That's all that is holding it in the car. Those 4 clips or levers. Just pull back gently. That's a heater duct. And also, please consider subscribing to my channel if you find this information in this video helpful. It'll definitely help my channel to grow, and I'll definitely appreciate that. Go ahead and get that out of there. So now the sensor is sitting right directly in the back of the engine. This is it here. This is the wire connector for it. I'm going to go ahead and get that unplugged. It's on there a little tight. That's what it looks like, the plug. Just got to lift up on that tab and pull up. But this part probably had never been changed before, so it was kind of stuck on there. Okay. So I'm just going ahead and unplug this other sensor next to it just to get some room to work, or to get that part pulled out of there. Okay, so there's a special tool for removing this sensor, but I didn't have that tool with me. So I'm just improvising. I'm actually using my plumber socket here. Okay. So as long as it fits over it and doesn't damage the part, it'll work just fine. Okay. Sometimes you have to improvise. So I'm not gonna, let one tool stop me from getting something done. I'm gonna do what I can do to get around that situation. All right. So I'm using my large screwdriver here to break it loose. And there are several other issues that can cause, the oil pressure to drop. And like I said, the oil pressure gauge, the clock itself on the dash, that could be faulty. This is the sensor. This is what it looks like once it's taken out. This is a new one that's going back in there. You see it comes with sealant on the threads to prevent oil leak, and also to help to keep that new sensor locked in there tight. Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, there are, different things that can cause low oil pressure reading, like the O-ring on the pickup in the oil pan, dirt in the oil pan that clogs the oil pickup in the pan can cause that issue. With the O-ring, with a busted O-ring, you would have low oil pressure until when you accelerate, the oil pressure would increase. And that's not what the problem I'm having here. The problem here is the oil is, fluctuating back and forth no matter what the situation, high RPM, idle, or whatever. Okay. So I got that sensor in place, and I'm reconnecting the lead. And also going to reconnect the lead to the other sensor that I unplugged to get room to work. Okay, got everything reconnected. So I'm gonna run a quick test and see how it reacts after the new sensor has been installed. Go ahead and crank it up, see what it does. So you see the needle is staying steady so far. Let it run for a while. Idle it up. You see it's reacting much differently. It's not dropping to zero. Reacting normally right now. That's what it's supposed to do. Shut it off, restart it. Looking good. Now, had this been some other issue other than the sensor, whenever this needle drops to zero or was dropping to zero, you know, if it was some other issue other than the sensor or the gauge, you would hear, you know, the engine would be making some kind of knocking noise. But we didn't get any of that, so that's a good sign. Okay, so this is the other cause I'm saying that could cause same symptoms, where if this ring was busted, that's the oil pickup, or this is the another part of the oil pickup. If that was clogged or dirty, that could also cause that symptom. But had it been any one of these, you would more than likely hear the engine making a tapping or a rattle sound, you know, making you know that it's not getting enough oil. But this engine never did that. This engine still ran quiet, whether the gauge was reading zero or not. Okay, so that's what sent me in the direction of the oil pressure sensor. All right, so getting it, everything covered back up, parts put back in place, and I'm pretty comfortable with this fix. That is the problem. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, you know, and consider sharing to anyone that you think this video might be helpful with. Okay, you know, I put out videos on other projects that I do, so check out my channel and please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. I'm really trying to get my channel to grow, and I definitely appreciate if you would do that. All right, or help me get it there. Okay, so like I said, this issue here, it can be any vehicle, you know, gas powered vehicle can have the same issue. You know, it may be set up differently from this truck, but you know, you can have this issue with any gas powered vehicle as long as it's a gas engine using oil. You know, you can run into this kind of issue. Okay, just that the oil pressure sensor will be in a different location depending on the make and model of the vehicle. Alright, so got this one solved, getting them back together, and should be good to go from this point on. Everything just clicks back in place. Alright, remember, this is DIY Yardy, and enough blessings, enough respect. Big up.